Welcome back to the Telosive Tech Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Nick is once again having a seizure. We apologize. Randy is Slim Shady today. We're a bit less formal than last week because...
I don't know why. He doesn't even sound like that, but...
That's Randy's Slim Shady
If
impression.
you had one chance, one opportunity to
Ditch
conquer...
Intel.
To ditch Intel. Do it. Do it now.
Mom spaghetti!
Mom spaghetti. Well, 137 was a very special episode. That's why we dressed up. 138,
Not
special at all.
No,
There's
nothing special about 138.
No, you guys
No
are getting
reason to be excited.
the bottom of the barrel minimal effort from me today.
Oh,
That's
thanks,
right.
Randy.
Same here.
Nothing but
Same
the
here.
best.
I will say I'm very grateful. I left my AirPods Pro on the MagSafe charger, and right before we started, I put them in, and it was very warm. The whole case and the pods were warm, and that's probably not good.
You're getting cancer is what you're telling me.
I'm getting cancer, but my ears are very comfortable.
Hey,
They feel warmed right now.
give and take on the cancer situation.
That's the new thing. Wearables. That's the new thing that they're going to do. Warm watches and ear cushions.
They just put Intel processors in them, and they get really, really warm.
Stick an i9 chip in the Apple AirPods, and
It's just long approved.
He looks at his AirPods with an Intel sticker. Hey,
it
has
Intel.
Nice.
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 Like,
How cool is
dude.
that?
How cool is that? Well, Randy, I've noticed you've been streaming some. This is exciting.
Yay.
You got your knockoff
working.
Cam Link, which I
Guys.
definitely didn't force you to buy, but I'm so happy to see Randy streaming again.
Well,
How's your
it's-
M1 experience?
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh no.
Dang
Still?
it. Should have stuck with Intel.
You know?
Oh no. Oh no.
You know?
Oh.
I am.
We might need to ban him from the show.
I'm actually missing my iMac this week because I could do things like this and all that. I cannot do any audio capturing on my desktop at all. That has to do with Logic. Nothing wants to work with Logic. Nothing. None of them. I'm willing to pay as much as $99 for a one-time payment, and it still won't capture. And I do the trial. I did the trial run for it. Nothing is capturing Logic sound. So my streaming
Have you
what? Have I what?
Have you tried Loopback? I used them a while ago and they seem to work.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Loopback does not.
Wow.
I'm specifically talking about Logic.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
capture desktop, iTunes or Apple Music or web whatever. I could do sounds. I cannot do Logic. I can't do anything audio with Logic. And
Interesting.
Wonder if it's Logic's fault or the M1's fault.
I think it's M1 because these things work fine for everyone else that have an Intel. Like someone I know who does something similar to what I do. He has an
So nothing?
We're already getting the shots fired up.
Oh, of course.
You know that one guy said all you do is you just talk crap about me or whatever. One of the
This
days.
is true.
So,
This is
yeah.
true.
There you go.
This
That's
is
what
too
it
much blood in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
But the thing
We're
is,
going to get demonetized. You have to do that later.
Oh,
It's too
I
violent.
see. Okay.
But this guy has a Intel Mac Pro, and to his credit, even though he spent a lot of money to it, at least he can stream properly. So, where I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm screwed. So, yeah. But
I have to wonder if the Mac Mini would have solved it.
It's not a hardware thing like that. Things
Or
need
is
to be
it?
updated.
the
You
Mac
know,
Mini fixes
it's-
all problems.
M1 is just. I thought I gave it enough time to let it recoup for everyone to get on board, but I guess a lot of people still haven't optimized. This knockoff Cam Link thing though, it doesn't do 1080. It only does 720. So
If you click it to high, it does do 1080.
high in OBS.
Yep.
Interesting.
I'll keep that in mind. Well, today you guys are getting a 720, Randy. So
All right. Well, 720 Randy's better than no Randy. See, I can
As
be
long
nice,
as-
guys.
As we're miniaturized into little columns,
yeah.
it ends up being
I'll fix it
higher
in
than
post. Don't worry,
720.
Randy.
No,
Thank you.
fix my Logic thing in post.
Yeah, I don't know. That would require us to be done with Logic at some point for me to start the post-production.
Yeah.
So,
I used to toy around with Logic. Didn't get very far.
yeah, I
I
tried
can-
Logic too, but I couldn't figure it out in school, so I just gave up, and now I don't have any Logic.
And
There's
that's
no
why
logic anymore.
That's why you live in an attic somewhere.
This is true. This is true.
Tailosive was built in attics.
Yeah. How dare
It's
you?
like-
How dare you make fun of addicts, Randy?
Rebellions were built on hope.
It doesn't count until it started in a garage.
Yeah, we already have a one-up on Apple because we started in attic over a garage. So
Same here. This is just
$10 trillion market cap. Here we come.
Tesla is built on hope.
Tesla is built on hope.
I don't know why
And
I say
Bitcoin
Tesla.
now. Well, speaking of Apple Silicon, what version of ARM is that on, Nick?
Yes.
Oh, smooth transition right there, Drew. Appreciate it.
It was.
Bravo. Hand clap.
No, it isn't.
We are on version 8.4 of ARM,
Right.
which I had no idea existed up until a couple days ago when I started doing research on this new version of ARM that is going to provide, I kid you not, another quantum leap in computing, sizable to, if not better than, the M1 Intel to M1 transition. So it's
What is
going
a
to be
quantum
a good one.
leap? What does that actually mean?
Honestly, I asked Ant-Man. He wasn't really sure. And then he disappeared into a smaller than a particle, and he never answered my question. So
To the realm of quantums?
yeah, something the realm of quantums. But yeah, anyway, so ARM is obviously not Apple specific, right? Like even Android phones run ARM. ARM is just a standard set of instructions. It's run on a RISC processing set. It's a reduced processing set. It's not complex. Intel and x86 runs on a complex operating set. So Intel's instruction set is a lot larger and a lot more compute heavy, but it can do more things. RISC in ARM is very specific. It has a smaller instruction set, but the instructions that it can do are very efficient. And so you can run a lot more RISC instructions in the same amount of time that you could run one larger complex instruction set.
Is that why
And so-
ARM started on smartphones and smaller things?
So little did I know, ARM started like 30-something years ago. And it has mostly been, for really small, the microcontroller in your calculator or the microcontroller in your refrigerator or microwave or whatever. Like that was kind of where ARM got its start. In those smaller, not really compute heavy specific use cases. But as chips evolved and there was demand for super power efficient, because that's always been the beauty of ARM and the RISC processing structure, is a very efficient and power efficient workflow and the chip design. And so ARM has always been the choice for mobile devices. Even back the very first iPhone, the OG iPhone, which if I reached right
That wasn't
over here,
Apple Silicon, was it?
it was not Apple Silicon. This was a Samsung chip. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a Samsung processor, but it was based on ARM. So all mobile phones, even back to the Nokia whatever, were ARM based because it's just much more efficient. You don't need a huge heat sink and cooling and power supply and stuff for these RISC processors. But the problem with ARM has always been it's not going to be as powerful because that is a reduced instruction set and it was designed for lighter weight applications. And as phones have grown and grown, ARM has been evolving. And I should say ARM is a consortium of, it's a standard setter, I guess. And so what they do is they say, hey guys, anyone who wants to brand things as ARM is going to have to meet these requirements and be able to run these things so that individual manufacturers can design their own chips. So that's why the Apple M1 chip and the Apple A14X are going to be different than the Snapdragon 898 or whatever we're on. And anyway, so they don't design chips themselves. They design that RISC, the ARM specific RISC instruction set and how that works. And so every single year, not every single year, but throughout the years, they've been evolving their instruction set to meet current needs. And so in 2011, they introduced ARM
V8?
V8, I believe, that had, it was 2011 they announced it. little fuzzy on my timeline. 2011 they announced it. Look this up. I'm just a guy on the internet.
I'm looking at a web page of it.
Oh, you are?
right
Okay,
now.
It
It's at October of 2011.
2011
Yeah.
they announced V8, and V8 was the first time ARM went to 64-bit. It was the first time ARM had a 64-bit standards. And for those who don't know, the difference between 32 and 64 and 128-bit is just the number of bits that you have in each data set. So the more bits, the larger numbers you can handle.
The 5S got 64-bit.
Yeah, and
not long after that, right?
Yeah, the A7 chip, which was in Apple's 5S, was the very first ARM-based 64-bit chip, and that blew everyone's mind. And at that point is when Apple really started to go crazy and gung ho with their chip design, because they had access to all these great engineers, and the ARM processors are very efficient. In with the iPhone 7, when was that? 2016?
16?
Yeah. They introduced the A10 Fusion chip. Which was based on a new ARM technology. The name is escaping me. Oh, it's a big dot small or something like that. Big dot tiny or something. Anyway, it's a new instruction set that ARM added in to 8.0 that allowed, I know this is getting really technical, but anyway, it allowed you to have a high efficiency core. Randy just left. A high efficiency core and a high power core. So you can have two different processors basically running in sync with each other. And that allowed even more great improvements. And
that's why there was kind of a big jump between A9 and A10?
Yep, a huge jump between A9 and A10 on battery efficiency, because they were able to run a power efficient core when you're playing Flappy Bird and run the really powerful core when you're playing Fortnite or whatever. I don't think that was a thing at the time.
I could be wrong, but I remember that being the year that iPhones were kind of known for overtaking Android with the Geekbench tests.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that was
so.
the year, but I remember it being with the A10, there being all this talk about how much faster it was. Because in the past, I do remember times when most of the Android phones could score higher than the iPhones were. And us Apple sheep were like, oh, who cares? But now we're like, hey, we love Geekbench scores because we have the higher one.
DxO
it matters if you have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, it no longer matters. But that's what it turned into.
Yeah. So, so for between iPhone 5S and iPhone 7, there's this huge leap that really hadn't been replicated up to that point. Like 5S was really powerful. 7 was even more powerful. And so now we equate this with this new generation of ARM technology. ARM is obviously looking at the fact that Apple is smoking Intel on every single point with ARM 8.4, which ARM 8.4 was still designed for mobile phones, mobile devices. It was not designed to do, high-end workflows on the consumer level. At least a lot of servers actually do use ARM processors. Amazon's AWS runs a lot of ARM processors, but that's neither here nor there. So version 9 on ARM is going to allow some really radical changes to the current ARM setup. Number one is they ARM themselves. This isn't a chip manufacturer saying. ARM themselves is saying ARM v9 within 2 generations. So 2 years from now, we'll have another 30% performance gain just in 2 years. And that's just from 8.4 to 9. And that's because it's more efficient, and also they're adding in new instructions that are more useful to, more powerful workflows. One of the specific things that currently the M1 chip can't handle are large matrix calculations. I believe it's a 128-bit limit that they currently have. x86 can do up to 512 bits in this kind of a calculation. It's called Neon. But with ARM v9, it's going to allow 2048 bits of processing. Four times the amount of the top end x86.
Jeez.
And it's going to be lots of improvements similar to that. My light is having problems at the moment. But anyway, ARM v9 is going to be really spectacular. And so taking this to Apple, which I'm always excited to talk about the M1 chip. Like, M1 has been the biggest surprise of the year for me, just on how powerful it is, price per dollar, all that fun stuff. I cannot.
This has become the M1 podcast.
This is the M1 podcast. We should just rename it. Who cares about the M3 podcast or whatever?
Just
We're the
have
M1 podcast.
The album art is just the M1 chip.
There you go. The RGB lights behind it. But
That's pretty much the most exciting thing Apple's doing these days, so that's why we're talking about it.
hey, new Siri voices! Yay!
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's
but anyway,
everything
if we take this to Apple, M1 was obviously the iPhone 5S A7 chip equivalent, right? Like, it was the first quantum leap. And already with ARM v9, they're talking about having the A10 quantum leap after that, just a couple years from now, is super exciting. Hopefully being able to run even more powerful workflows and have even more professional applications be able to take advantage of the ARM architecture. So super exciting stuff coming out of ARM.
Makes me wonder, like, law of diminishing returns, if these chips can be made so quickly or can become so power efficient and so powerful with computing that Apple wants to intentionally slow the rollout of them, just because if you could suddenly make a MacBook Air that could do everything maxed out Mac Pro could do, and multiple times better, then why would people want to spend more money on more powerful Macs in the future? So they have to find a way to, like, stagger it. Be careful with the rollout, otherwise you just kind of axe half your lineup functionality pretty quickly. I don't know.
A lot of people, obviously in June of last year, Apple announced that they were going to be switching to ARM. Randy, do you have something to say? You haven't said anything in a while. Okay.
No, a Professor Answini's in class giving a history lesson on ARM.
There will be a test at the end, Randy. I hope you know.
I am but a simple student. Mom spaghetti.
There will be a pop quiz at the end.
A popsicle quiz? I love popsicle quizzes. Those are the best.
Don't go there.
Don't go there? Come on. I love popsicles.
The difference with Apple's lineup is that I feel like it's a lot more minimal than everybody else's, of just like having a billion different variants and different configurations to choose from. But now, like we talked about last week, everything's getting more and more minimized. But I have a feeling that the end goal here isn't just for the average price of Macs to radically drop. I think they're going to want to find ways of preserving their current revenue just with better value, but not lower prices.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I don't think they care all that much what gets cannibalized on the Mac thing, since, like I said last time, it's not their bread and butter anymore. I think market share, they're not going to lose market share or anything. If anything, like they're just only going to gain more, because when you do a side by side, you can't do spec for spec anymore because it's not the same. It's not even the same field. But when you do side by side,
you have to do dongle comparisons. That's what all the Microsoft ads are. See, dongle, ew. That's all they got now.
So in June, they were talking about going over to ARM, and everyone knew that V9 was going to be coming out at some point, but we didn't know when. And so people were kind of wondering if Apple was going to wait till V9 to introduce the first ARM-based Mac. But since they didn't, that kind of lends credence to the idea that Apple knew about it. Apple obviously is a founder of ARM, so they probably have early access to lots of stuff with V9. And Apple decided that for some reason it was still advantageous enough to launch a 8.4 version of M1 just to one-up it again next year with V9. And that is, the M2 chip is going to really scream. I cannot wait to see that.
You think M2 will be on V9? Or
yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
ARM said that the first consumer products with V9 will be out by the end of the year, but I would say next year would be a good, give Apple some time to get the M2X available, or M2 available.
Oh, okay. See, I was thinking M2 would still come out end of this year.
Okay, it might. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Depending on how they brand it, I'm not sure how they will handle the branding side of things. It might be like iPhones where they just add a number each year, but it might be one of those like every other year type upgrades.
They might
I'm not sure,
minimize lineup, but they never minimize branding names. They cluster the hell out of that. Everything's just like this.
They got the U1 chip. They got the A series. They got the X series. Then they throw in Z. Then they got the S series, the W series. They got so many different silicon chips to choose from. We've actually had two different series of M chips. Yeah.
Yep.
They did the Motion coprocessor and now the M for Mac, I guess. I don't recall if they said that specifically at the event.
M for memory because we forgot we used this name before.
M for might have forgot we already used M.
Yeah.
Oh well.
They ran out of letters on the alphabet. They got to use a different alphabet now. We went through every single one. X chip.
They use
M1.
some like special character from another language. It's the black dot that causes your iPhone
They
to
should
crash.
just use emojis
Chip.
and just have like
The laughing
know,
emoji chip.
the 100% emoji chip,
The smirk emoji chip. It's just
or the flame to say that it's not Intel.
yeah. They engrave it on each one too. Little like monochrome icon.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got that into the emoji, whatever that they use, and we see some type of chip, and theirs would be specialized in M1. The
That's
only thing
kinda
we
cool.
have is a computer. Yeah, only a computer. Some computer stuff.
Am I the
They're all
only one
maxed
who
out.
thinks there's way too many emojis?
Yes.
These are
Do you agree,
hieroglyphics
or
now.
are you saying I'm the only one?
Yes, you are the only one because there
okay,
can always
gotcha.
be more emojis. And the one thing I would say about emojis is I need to be able to customize my picker. Like I only ever use like a dozen emojis, and so I want
I
those.
think most people are like that.
Right? And so instead of that stupid frequently used section, this has been my number one feature request for many iOS updates, but just allow me to pin emojis where I want them. So they're
Oh.
always where they are. Because
There you
half
go.
the time it's like, oh, I used that one. Where'd it go? And then, I use some random emoji that I normally don't use, and it's at the top of my frequently used, and I'm like,
iOS
thought-
15.
I thought they were gonna introduce the idea of like inverting, so you can choose which directional, because that'd be useful.
ooh,
That would save a lot of time in the collections of emojis that have like the same thing from different
Yeah.
angles. If you could just hold
The
it and then
hand.
switch to a different one.
The
Oh yeah, the hand one.
the gun,
The gun.
the
the
go
water
either way.
pistol. It's a water
The
pistol.
water
not a
droplet.
gun.
I want the droplet to go this way now. I don't know. I just felt like 1% of emoji, probably less than 1% of all the emojis made are the ones that are used for 99% of interaction. And then there's like thousands of emojis that literally no one ever uses for anything.
They have
But
two
they add
versions
them to
of
each
the
update.
CD. They have the silver and then the gold one, which
One's a CD, one's a DVD, maybe?
How does it-
I don't know.
Do we need a separate emoji? Who decided when they were... Also, where do these emoji standards come from? Is there like a world
There is.
emoji
Yep.
Yeah,
organization that's
Yep,
just like,
there is.
we have decided?
Yep.
They
Actually,
come forward
yep.
once a year
yep,
with
yep,
a
yep.
big scepter, and the scepter has an emoji at the top, and they just come forward and slam it on the ground and say, we've decided that the DVD emoji should be different from the CD emoji. Those could totally be the same one, but we think that would cause too much confusion.
And the
Even though I've
scepter
seen...
will always be the default tear laughing
Yes.
with joy. That will always.
That's
Yeah.
probably the most common one, right?
I think so.
Probably. That and the
Safe to
smiley
say.
face. I use the smiley face a lot.
I
Yeah,
don't use the smiley face very much.
You don't. I don't think you use emojis a lot.
I do, but when I do, I don't always use emojis.
But,
when I do, I use the crying, laughing emoji.
find the one thing you're not good at, and don't do that thing.
Don't do that thing.
The most
I'm still
interesting man in the world. Mosquitoes don't bite me out of respect.
Out of respect. Speaking of losing your train of thought, do you think AirTags are real, or were we all bamboozled based on the Find My network announcement. Did you catch that at all?
Did you catch my tweet at all?
I don't know. I haven't been on Twitter today.
I haven't been on
No,
Twitter.
it wasn't
Where's
today.
my
It was a
phone?
couple days ago. It was a couple days ago. Basically, I am saying that I don't think AirTags. The answer to your question is no. The short answer is no.
Oh, I did see that tweet. Now I remember. The Chipotle
I think
collab.
they exist. Oh yeah, the Chipotle collab though with Apple, yo, fire.
Chipotle is actually AirTags. No one saw that coming.
Yeah, there you go. Plot twist. Chipotle's Chipolo whatever collab with Apple is fire, but I don't know. Honestly, the more I'm sure they are around and stuff like that, but there's no reason at this point. I don't understand. I am a simple Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Mom spaghetti, but I will say that if they were ever going to announce it, we're past its time. I have no interest anymore at all. Not because of competitors either. It's just I don't know. And I think the deeper issue is that everybody was so certain to the point of events, to the point of just I don't know. Everybody was so certain that like it I had to remind myself, even though it was in Apple's coding, because you can always try to test things in your betas and stuff like that, and then they remove it too. But even though it came from Apple sources directly as well, that they did exist at some point, it never existed technically in the sense that it was never announced. So I don't think I don't think they found, whether it's a cost thing, whether it's using ultra wideband, whatever. I don't know what is causing the hiccup. But I think that ship has sailed. I think they had a time bracket, a window of opportunity, and they missed it. I think they know they missed it.
They air powered it.
They air powered. I think it's long since, because now look at everybody else. Now with the third party, they're doing exactly what Belkin and everybody else did for air power. Where it's like, look, we got these 3 charging hub dock things. That's kind of like.
Yep.
So Samsung came out with their tag when they had no plan on doing it, just based off of the rumors of Apple doing it. So
Samsung's right now, they're like, oh crap, we didn't have to do that.
oh my god, we got to get on it. So we
First
in the
they
Apple
made us
camp,
make a speaker, a home speaker, and now we have to make a tag.
Right.
So us in the Apple camp is we just been like, we just been waiting, and I think by Apple doing the press release with these third parties this past week, I think tells me like the actions are louder than the words, because there are no words about it. There was the only thing official was that we found some code, and it was in a release, like on an ad thing,
A support video.
with a support video. So it was there, but writing code when because to my point, I was telling somebody in my thread when I made that tweet, is there are so many prototypes that we don't even know about that Apple's working on. We have an idea.
Oh yeah.
Like we know about them playing around with a car. We know about glasses. We know about all these different things that they're toying around with. They were toying around with the air power. The difference is that they prematurely talked about air power before it was ready. And so this time they're not talking about AirTags, but there's a whole category of all these accessories and even probably new market areas of things that they are definitely working on that we have no idea about. But we caught wind of of AirTags, and we ran with it as a fan base and stuff. Everyone was like, it's coming. But Apple never officially said anything, even though it was in a support page, even though things have been shown in code.
It was definitely an accident. They took it down.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
But code is not confirmation that it's just like to me, it's like, okay, you were working on it. You're testing out something in the code that probably has to do with the chip and how it communicates with other devices and this and the other.
Right.
Like I could see more things that are going on under the hood, but all that to say that Apple had never talked about it. So,
And if it was canceled internally, they never would talk about it. They're never going to make a newsroom post that says,
"Yeah, hey, that
so
thing that we never talked about."
So we were working on this thing called AirTags. We canceled it, by the way. Bye.
Yeah, so
that'll never happen.
There was no alluding to this was like coming from them. We just saw that the FindMy network is a thing, and now third-party accessories have been introduced. That is that's our confirmation. That's what we have to go off of. And maybe AirTags will come. And I hope they do, just so I can see what they look like. But I don't care. Like, it's...
Yeah. Most of my audience, almost most, I ran the poll. 48% of people said they were not interested in AirTags.
Yeah, I voted twice trying to get that thing over. So be like, no, I voted twice.
Fraud. Recount.
I want to recount.
But that's a tech audience, right? That's like a heavy biased tech community. Imagine the average consumer polls, probably even more so. Who cares? Like, I know there are some people who bought tiles, but personally, no one in my life has.
Yeah.
Do you guys know people with geo-trackers?
Nope.
No. Don't know anybody.
Okay. Well, it's very anecdotal, but there's your evidence, everybody. No one
Hashtag
cares.
confirmed on the Tailosive Tech podcast. There's not going to be anyone buying AirTags in the future.
Do you think it's possible AirTags were a code name? Just for future FindMy devices, like FindMy network devices. They didn't want to put, Chipolo key tracker in iOS code. So instead they labeled it AirTags to be kind of a blanket code name for all FindMy accessories.
Well, now it goes against... man. Okay, so the only reason I say no is because there's evidence on these little discs that the word AirTag was written on the back on the back of the little thing.
But those are renders.
The one that we saw was a render. Now I agree. Let me show me the final. Show me what you saw, and then I will draw my own conclusions. But source has got to be protected. Source has got to be source.
But as we know, there's a lot of bad sources out there.
As we know,
no, all sources are 100% accurate. I just checked Apple Track. Everyone is 100%.
You know what Apple Track needs is a universal score for all leaks reported on and figure out how inaccurate the entire community has been in general.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Apple,
I bet it's really low.
Apple is definitely they figured however they did, they figured out at least one runny faucet, and they found how to stop the leaking on that
running
one.
faucet. That's good.
Yeah. They're definitely they definitely hired a plumber. So
called global intelligence.
They're looking at these leaks. Yeah. I do find it interesting, though, because one of the first pieces of iOS code that we thought was confirming AirTags was this items tab within the FindMy app that showed a bicycle and keys in a briefcase.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, we were like, oh, the items tab, that's going to be for AirTags. That's what iOS says. And they're showing the little icons, showing the bike and the key and whatnot. And then when they announced the FindMy network, they don't unveil AirTags, but they literally unveil a bike with FindMy compatibility. And I'm like,
which is cool.
Well, that would make AirTags attaching to bikes kind of pointless. If you can...
My God. My backpack is bugged.
My backpack is bugged. Like, if AirTags do happen, I'm not saying they can't. It's still possible. But if they did...
I'm saying they can't.
Okay, Nick is saying they're just flat out not happening at all. But I'm saying if they do, it's very, very odd behavior, in my opinion, to announce mid-April direct AirTag competition that will, they said on the website, take advantage of the U1 chip.
Yeah.
Later this spring, which is not that far. That's like a couple weeks from now.
And that bike does look nice.
Yeah, the bike looks kind of cool. And the little works with FindMy thing, I'm like, ooh, I like this. I like where this is going. Creating this huge network that just is able to track down your stuff.
If I go like, missing in the woods somewhere, taking my bike out, and a bear gets me, then now you know.
Now you know. You'll be
hey,
like, if that bear
FindMy
had an
saying
iPhone.
Randy's been by the Salmon River lately a lot.
by the salmon river. There's just like iPhones at the bottom of the river that people have dropped, but they're still pinging.
They're all pinging each other.
Yeah. Like,
well, he loves his fishing.
He loves fishing. The idea of a network
and Apple
that's all
Maps
connected.
says, "Oh my gosh, there's traffic here. There's so many iPhones stopped right here. There's just traffic."
There's a lot of traffic by the Salmon River. The idea of having an extensive network that's able to ping each other makes sense to do with a huge brand like Apple, because you know how many devices they have registered and connected. So trying to do that same type of network with a third party like Tile is just going to be really, really difficult, because you're never going to have the same volume.
Oh,
So-
guys. I don't know why. Whatever you just said, Drew, something clicked. That's another revenue stream for them. That network that we don't have to pay anything for, even though we'll pay for the product. That's another services industry for Apple.
FindMy Plus.
No,
but for the business side, that's like, now we have this network that you can use your things on our things for service. This is another example.
So
of them
third
just
parties have to pay Apple.
Yes, and it's
Right.
and you're using it's another foothold of saying that we are services, which would then add credence to like, oh, we might have an AirTag, we might not have it. Who cares? We're making money off the services of it, not the product itself. Because now, imagine what you can do with a whole network of pinging. They are internal Big Brother, but they'll say, no, it's okay because we're completely end-to-end encrypted. Even the FBI couldn't hack us, blah, 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 blah. And they'll do this whole thing, and then they will just market it as security. Track only what you want to be tracked.
I
They're
have
Google.
brought peace, justice.
Your new network. Don't make me ban
What
you.
if the Galaxy Smart Tags worked with FindMy?
I bet they would. What if it's an open network? What if it's an open,
That would
not
make
a network, but it's like, hey, like
An industry standard?
home
That would
kit,
make
industry
sense.
standard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it?
It would be easier to find everyone's stuff. I feel like you would be mutually beneficial in that regard.
That's true.
Peace.
So, Nick, you're
Justice.
saying
What-
AirTags are flat out not happening?
Yeah, I don't think
That's your
AirTags.
prediction?
Apple branded, Apple made, Apple sold AirTags branded as AirTags, which are specifically designed to ping the location of a physical device using a U1 chip, U2 chip, or any subsequent generations, will not happen, according to Nic and Sweeney, on April 10th, 2021. It's not
I don't think it's a terrible prediction. I'm still split
and
because
Sam, write that down. Nic and Sweeney,
Oh, yeah.
weak accuracy score 100%. So
That's not
I'm
how
better than Tim.
100%
100%.
works.
it's you can boost your credibility if you say what won't happen.
This is true.
It's a lot easier. AirTags will not launch
That's true.
tomorrow.
You have a very good chance of it not launching tomorrow. Yeah. But all I have
you.
to say, I would have loved, though, if we did have a March event, which didn't happen, and we're still
Right.
kind of waiting on an April event that may or may not happen. I don't know. We'll get to that
420.
later, I'm sure. Ish, possibly.
There's still a chance.
What I would have loved to happen,
High speed.
you know me and Apple's new event style with the drone shots. This is what I want.
Oh yeah.
Apple to get on stage and say, hey, so we're partnering with new companies on this U1 chip type distributed finding thing. We want to have Chipotle up on stage. Okay, whatever.
Keep going. Don't stop.
Chipotle on the stage, but
Keep going.
we want to have Chip Yodel on the stage. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic,
Guac is now free.
Guac is now free, and the crowd erupts.
Are
Instead
you
of-
getting it?
It's not free separate product. It's guacamole.
This has been a food campaign this whole time.
Oh wow.
Okay, so instead of Tim just saying, "Oh, and we're gonna have whoever from Chipotle up to talk about their new product," and then just swipe over to that person walking an apple park or up on the roof or something.
Yes.
What I want to see
Lisa.
happen is the drone camera go out the window, up and fly over to the headquarters of wherever these people are located in San Francisco or the Bay Area, and then land and do the whole transit. Like that would be such a fun. I want to see that transition happen just once. Apple, please make it happen.
Nick,
So
what are we talking about?
saying
What are we talking about?
The
Just
Find My Network announcement
cinematography.
should have been done via a live stream,
Yes,
is what you're saying.
live
Okay.
stream. But I want to see that cinematography where the drone shot goes up and across town to their building.
I agree. It does seem like a bit of a weird thing to just announce via
Dude,
newsroom
I did
post.
not know this was happening until like a day later. I
I
don't
know.
even think I watched your video on it. Did you make a video on it?
I did, but it wasn't something I noticed right away. I just saw the
Okay.
newsroom post, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then I went back, and then I started reading it, and I went, oh, that's actually kind of a big deal. Because there was a bunch of people in the Discord saying, I don't think AirTags were ever real, or I don't think... or they're canceled, or Apple decided not to release them at all, and people were giving all these theories, and I was like, how come everyone's just abandoning the AirTag? I mean, I'm fine with abandoning AirTags as a subject. That's great, but the fact
we
that
have
so
been
many
heartbroken
people,
before with AirPower, and we learned our lesson. We have been
although
hardened
AirPower was at least mildly exciting at first.
because it came from the Apple's mouth, the horse's mouth.
It came from Apple's mouth, and I don't recall there ever being a time when they said they would announce something or they would ship something at a later date, and then they flat out never shipped it. I can't recall another time they have done that. It's pretty rare. Tesla, it's a different story, but with Apple, pretty much if they bring it up on stage, that's going to happen.
If you hear from Elon Musk, you know it's not happening.
Yeah. Almost assume the opposite to a certain
Which is
extent.
why I got out of Bitcoin.
Oh, you did?
That was a mistake.
Because Elon owns Bitcoin. That's how
He is Bitcoin.
He owns
Musk
it. But
coin.
we need Tim
Must
Coin.
one.
We
Ooh,
know.
Tim Coin. Would Apple,
Every time
and
you
we already
buy
talked
it.
And
about
it's
this.
slogan,
We already talked-
morning.
The U1 chip at AirTag would have been a great coin, basically.
You never lose your money.
Right.
You walk to
Apple invents
your
a
friend's
physical
sofa, and
currency.
your phone just pings, and it's like, "Hey, there's $1.50 in the sofa here," and you're like,
There
"Oh,
you
yay."
go.
And then you tear apart your neighbor's sofa.
Do you think there is room for an AirTag to coexist with a Chipotle chip? I'm just calling it the Chipotle chip now. That's the official.
It is the Chipotle chip.
Yeah. Or does it not
I'm
make sense
glad
to have
I
two separate?
inspire you.
You do.
You do. You always inspire me, Randy. Even when I'm sleeping, you're inspiring.
There's definitely room for it to coexist. And I would say it should coexist, just because it doesn't harm anything to have an Apple version of anything. I mean, Apple makes their own USB-C cables, and it coexists with other cables. They have a very diverse lineup of branding in the Apple Store. Despite they're anti-competitive, blah 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 blah. You go there and Belkin and Mophie and all these other guys. I mean, Logitech and everything. These brands that work with Apple have their own symbiotic relationship of things that kind of work. It's not really stepping on anybody's toes, but it's like, hey, we got our thing, and it is what it is. If
Phone
AirTags,
cases is another big one.
phone cases are definitely another one.
They sell a ton of third-party cases.
Yeah, and this only second time I ever got an Apple One was doing for this one. The first time was with the iPhone 10. But anyway, I think I think it should happen, but I just now how this information came out, I just don't think it will happen. I just think that Apple's like, it's not whatever. Maybe it's one more less thing that they have to worry about with distribution.
One less
or
thing.
something.
One less more thing.
We have one less thing.
And
they have that at an event?
They delete a product out of their website.
One-
with one
So the
less
last thing we just
But
talked
we
about,
didn't just-
we're not going to release.
But we didn't just stop there. We have one less thing. And I would like to remove it right now.
Just take the iPod off the website. And I'd love to remove it right now. He has a clicker and it just deletes it.
Boom. No.
No. We need a one less thing event.
Are we still selling the iPod? Boom. No.
He just like drops an F-bomb. The iPod is dead. It's gone.
And enjoy your time at Apple Park.
Thank you all for coming.
Back. Yeah.
They just do a whole event. Instead of an event where they announce new Apple Silicon, can they have an event where they just discontinue a bunch of the Intel Macs?
Yes, I want this to be... They need to have a
27-inch
for the
iMac.
Intel.
Gone. 21.5-inch iMac. Gone. That one Intel Mac Mini. Gone. It's pointless. It doesn't have a market anymore. And that's why today we're so excited to destroy it. And Tim just
$899 fully subsidized.
Fully subsidized.
No, they need to have like a legit
just
Steve
stop
Ballmer
there.
funeral for all of the Intel Macs, where you get like the give it a funeral.
We have one less thing.
That's so minimal, Randy. That's the most minimal thing you've ever said. I love it. Just gotta say it in Johnny's voice now.
It has reached the point to me where I was expecting AirTags to launch, but now it's to the point where it would be weird if they did launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awkward. It's like
It would just be
we
bizarre.
just broke up, and now you're standing outside of my door saying, "Will you take me back?" And it's like, listen, we moved on. We had some.
Some
we had
of us
some
did,
times.
Randy.
To like openly endorse third-party hardware for tracking. That's, I think, safe to say, probably going to be more affordable than AirTags, whatever the AirTags end up being. You know, the Chipolo would be cheaper or whatever.
Oh, I hope the Chipolo is cheaper.
I don't think there's much of a this whole pricing thing. I think that I think Apple would be Apple about it and maybe try to upsell it, and maybe that was like, oh well, we can't compete. Even if we're open up for everybody, like if we're gonna charge, say, I don't know what's an absurd number, 50, 100, whatever an absurd number would be. I maybe it's just a margin thing, a price like nope, we're not. That's not the hill they want to die on about. Like this is it. So.
This is it. You turned into Obama there for a second. Let me be clear.
Let me be clear. Yes, we can. We have.
We can charge that much.
One less thing.
One less thing. Yeah, that's how Apple is. They would definitely Magsafe Duo that launch. They would be like, because it's us and we use some special material that everyone else would not make. That's why it's $70 and everyone else's is $40 or something.
Ours is titanium alloy, charging with gold and pixie dust.
Guys,
it has a little bit of unicorn hair.
This Phobio update. They sent me my gift card digitally.
Who's Phobio?
Phobio? Phobio?
The trade-in thing.
Oh, yeah, for your iMac. Sorry. Got it. Your iMac trade-in with
I got the digital
Apple.
gift card, and I can only use it at Apple Store. I have $120. Don't spend it all at once. I was looking at the Magsafe Duo. Maybe should I? Here's like, what can I do with 120 at Apple? Not much. I found out.
Yeah,
not much. Not much.
You can buy
480
EarPods Max cups.
480. I could have put in a dent. I probably would. 480 probably would have gone towards AirPods Max, to be honest. But yeah, 120. And then first of all, before I even tell you about my list of things I'm looking at, they send me an email. Hey, give us a survey. What do you think about working with us? It's like, you guys suck. Really guys rock. You suck. I was like, you quoted me 480, and then you gave me literally 1/4 it. I will never work with you guys again. Eat my butt. So
I know I'm turned away. I don't want to use that service at all after your story.
That was so rude. Like last thing I said is like, you literally wasted mine and your time. This is so stupid. You wasted my time. This was so ridiculous. So Yeah, funny. No response email since. Shocker. But
Shocker.
so I was looking at Magsafe Duo. I was looking at maybe getting like the iPhone stable whatever.
Gimbal.
The gimbal?
The gimbal.
How much is that?
I think it's around 130 or
130.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything I'm talking is in that some price point variant of it. So I was looking at that. I was like, should I get another hard drive? Nah, I won't get no more hard drives. I'm good. But it's weird. You kind of get addicted about buying external hard drives. What if I run out of room? So, but no,
you will. It's a matter of time.
Digital hoarder.
It is inevitable. But what are your guys' long term durability with the Duo? Is it good?
I love mine.
Yeah. Okay.
I would recommend it. It's one of those things that it's kind of like buying people whenever it's holiday season or birthday season. It's like I want to get them something they'll use. So
underwear
is one of them. I've never bought people underwear, but maybe my dad once. We used to buy a lot of people different scented soap just because we knew that they would. It's not too overbearing.
That's
it's not
so
like a really
rude.
expensive.
What are you trying to say, Drew?
I wash my hands.
No, they love it. It's like it has a smell to it. Like one of them smelled like s'mores. One of them smelled like fruity cherry. Like people got to choose. Yeah, I mean, people want to. It's nice, but it's been good because every person we've given the soap to, when we go to their place, they're using it. Like they still have it, and it's by the sink. So we're like, we don't want those gifts, or you don't want to use your gift card on something that's just going to sit in a box or sit in the corner and never get used. And you're the type of person that likes, you're going on trips in the next few weeks. You're moving around a bit, and based on where you're going to live, I imagine you probably want to move around a bit too. Take little day trips or week trips or whatever.
Ouch.
So
no, how dare you?
Because of that, whenever we go somewhere and I need to pack my chargers, and all I have to do is put it in my pocket. That's been amazing. I still use Magsafe Duo every single night. That's what charges my phone and watch every day. And it's very compact. Yes, it's expensive, but that's why you should use a gift card on it, not your actual money. It's like perfect. Mm-hmm. And so that's for the soap argument.
I mean, it kind of is your money, but okay.
But he can only spend it on Apple.
Magsafe Duo is
if he just had $120 in cash, I wouldn't instantly recommend Magsafe Duo.
I'm going to say, Randy, you should not get the Magsafe Duo. You should get a gimbal.
Oh, my God. You're doing this on purpose. All right, let's go.
No, I'm not.
All right.
I use my gimbal.
I will actively not recommend the gimbal.
Okay, wow.
But go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
I'm going to get my boxing gloves on, Drew. So, my gimbal is a creative tool. Mm-hmm. I can use this to create value. Now, whether or not it's noticed by people who watch the videos or not, it's noticed by me when I'm creating it and when I am editing it in Final Cut or whatever, and I notice that it's not shaky cam. It looks professional and smooth. How many times, Randy, have we shot stuff with this gimbal?
All the time.
Whenever we are shooting stuff, especially for Series 5 intros or anything that's like cinematic, I'm always using the gimbal because, it's let's be honest, this is not a professional cinema gimbal. This is for a smartphone. But
wait, are you for this or against this now? I don't know what we're doing.
I am for spending $120 that's kind of windfall money on a gimbal of some sort.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying, I would prefer, if I could do this purchase over again, I'd prefer just to get a real cinema gimbal and put my actual camera on it because that's going to be better. But that's like, $400 to $800. So I would say for $130, $150, you cannot go wrong with this little gimbal if you don't, intend on using a cinema gimbal at some point. So, Randy, I would recommend you get the 4th generation DJI Osmo gimbal. Has a MagSafe adapter thingy to it, so you don't even have to. There's no clamps on it, just onto your phone, and it doesn't it charge it? I saw a picture of
that one.
No, it wasn't.
Do I need an
it doesn't
app
have the clips
for it,
on
Nick?
it. Okay, maybe I should do my research. But anyway, the new
there
generation
is an app
of this
you
is
can
slightly
use.
better.
You don't have to.
I don't
there's
have
an app.
to, but there. Okay.
Yeah.
Does the app
and
enhance things?
The app does like
It gives you a
subject
few
tracking.
features.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can set it up with a little tripod and have it as you go across the field or whatever. It kind of tracks you or whatever. I think that's the main feature of the app. But the app's pretty clunky, and I just always use the regular camera app. But I would say $130 is probably better spent on a gimbal for you, a creative, than a MagSafe charger that you'll use once a night that you already have stuff that works just fine for it. I personally have both. I use my MagSafe charger every night, although every night I think to myself, man, that was $100 and something I didn't need to spend. But yet I have it, and if anyone wants to buy it, let me know.
Wow.
My gimbal stopped working after about a year, and it is not very good at what it does. And I also, personally, I don't think anything's wrong with your iPhone footage, Randy, unlike Nick, who seems to think it's too shaky and it looks awful. I'm a good friend and happens to believe your iPhone footage looks incredible. The optical and digital image stabilization is fantastic on the iPhone. And I used to vlog only with the gimbal, and then I switched to handheld. Literally no one complained. I never got a single comment saying, "Oh, is this not with the gimbal?"
Oh,
and the
clearly
gimbal
you've shadow banned me then, Drew, because I comment every single vlog. Where's the gimbal?
I think I did, probably. But the gimbal doesn't move quick enough. The amazing thing about these two little gimbals we have attached to our bodies is that we can move our wrists as quickly as we need to. We can point the cameras right wherever we need. The gimbals, when you want to turn and pivot towards something, it's like, and it's very slow, and then it sometimes yells at you if you hold it the wrong way.
I have experienced that. Yep.
And I also, like, my gimbal is in the closet, not been used in over a year, and that's what I predict, because if you go on a trip or something, it's going to be another bag, another little case you got to remember to pack, whereas it will not fit in your pocket. Magsafe Duo will. That's something you can throw in your back pocket, and then you don't have to worry about all the different separate cables and charge. It'll save you time packing. This will add time packing when you want to go somewhere. I know you already have like a phone tripod type thing that you can just mount your phone with, and that will do 90% of probably what you would use the gimbal for regardless. And
Drew,
that doesn't work if you don't charge it.
You're conflating a creative tool with a luxury item. I'm sorry.
No, I'm conflating a creative scam. It's made to make you think you'll be more creative with it, but in reality it'll just slow you down.
Well, I guess all of the B-roll that I've been taking over the past couple days with the gimbal has just terrible. I mean,
no, it's not terrible. It just could have been achieved without the gimbal.
No, it couldn't have.
It's taking too much credit.
Stable. I have palsy.
But the iPhone is. I have shaky hands too. Don't get me wrong, but the iPhone stabilization is fantastic, and the gimbal.
I have a
change it that
caffeine
much.
problem, so I'm always like.
Oh, is that caffeine? I thought it was something else.
Hey guys, you guys want to film something?
Sweet and low.
Sweet and low.
That's my. Also, I do not see a MagSafe supported gimbal.
I only see the Mobile 3. I was like, okay,
there's
MagSafe,
a 4 out there, I think.
Not at the
well,
Apple
Apple
Store.
doesn't sell it, so he can't get it.
Yeah.
With his gift card.
Well, that was a very compelling argument there, Drew. Ever thought about running for office?
I'm not a good enough liar to run for office, so.
But you're a master debater.
Thank you. Very poor choice of words. No, I just happen to feel very passionate that I regret buying that gimbal. For a while, it was kind of cool, but then
bit you in the butt.
after a while, I was like, man, what was I? I really never used this thing, and it doesn't even work that well. And when I need to film something, I can just. When you go somewhere and you want to film something that you don't care enough to use a real camera for, so you're going to use your phone, just bring an actual camera at that point. If you're going to pack around a gimbal,
the gimbal is the perfect step between an actual camera and your phone camera. It provides slightly better footage. No, it doesn't change the sensor, but it actually does improve image quality. I don't think that is even debatable. A smoother shot allows more detail to be picked up in each frame of the video. If you have a really bumpy and shaky shot, then there's going to be a lot of motion blur inside of each one of the
But I'm saying the
frames.
shots that would be bumpy are not the common ones, or not the ones Randy's most likely do it. I don't imagine Randy running at full speed as he's filming B-roll that often. If he's just doing panning shots of close-ups and filming himself, you can do that by hand just fine, honestly.
Yeah, I don't
In
imagine
my
me running
personal
at
opinion. That is cool. I'm seeing the link to what you said.
Yeah, so
the
it's not
MagSafe
MagSafe.
attachment.
It's not MagSafe, but it is a magnet.
Oh, okay.
You have this little adapter that you have to put on it.
That is cool.
But
Wait,
it
does
looks
it
like
glue?
MagSafe.
Huh?
I think so.
How
It's
does
like
it
3M
How does
tape
it
or
attach
something.
to the back?
I guess 3M tape. I guess I don't know.
Oh, you
No,
have to tape it.
What? No, there's
I
it
don't know.
looks like there's a
I've
magnet.
never bought this.
Scroll
It-
down a little bit. There was a.
It says use the magnetic ring holder to snap your smartphone on, but it doesn't show a video of it being attached
There's two versions. There's a clip.
magnetically.
There's a
Yeah, I
clip.
think it's like a pop socket one, and
Yeah.
oh, I see.
You have a clamp and you have a ring holder.
Oh, interesting. So maybe
Keep
it is
scrolling down.
magnetic. I don't know.
It doesn't
cool.
show it attaching magnetically to the back though. It just shows it already on the back. But it's
What would it-
$150.
Are you talking about the clamp itself? It doesn't show.
No, not the clamp one, the magnet one. It doesn't show it just snapping on the back.
Oh,
which
yeah,
makes
yeah.
me think
Yeah, I
it's
think
like
you
an
have to
adhesive.
Tape that on or something, yeah, with 3M tape.
Ooh.
That's
But-
definitely the coolest one they've made.
This is
but
this
I'm-
is
I
a
wouldn't
this is a
get it.
3-axis gimbal though. It's not just a 2-axis because the one that I have is only 2-axis, and I think the one you drew have is only 1-axis, right?
I don't know how you tell.
What's the third axis?
It moves through time.
Am I too early? Lois Lane is the key.
I don't know. I'm gonna walk that back. I don't know a ton about this gimbal. I vaguely remember it being another
Wow,
axis of
you're
freedom
really
than what I
selling
have.
me here, Nick.
If Randy was to get a gimbal, I'd recommend this one, but it's not on Apple's store.
Yeah, so you'll have to get
Yeah.
the 3, which isn't a bad gimbal. I use it just about every week for something.
I'm glad it works for Nick,
150
but
bucks. I would pay for that.
I
with-
won't
with the
lie
gift
to Randy and tell him I've had a great experience with mine. It stopped working on me. So
Well,
I
I'm
wanted
so
to
sorry.
disclose my
You
experience.
abuse your technology, Drew. I take good care of my cinema
Oh,
gear.
wow.
If
Wow.
you had a story of your MagSafe Duo ripping in half or catching on fire, I would also want you to disclose that against MagSafe Duo. So if
Yes,
something
it
like that
has,
has happened,
totally caught fire.
Oh, okay.
Once I may
you
have,
should run for office.
put gasoline on it and possibly, smoked by it. But no, I'm no fires.
No
Oh.
fires.
Okay, well, if it doesn't catch on fire, I don't see the big deal.
Bruh. Come on, Randy. You gotta get more creative tools.
More creative tools.
That's the more creative tools you have, the more freedom you'll find in.
It's about how you use the tools.
Of
not how many
course,
tools
yes.
you
But
have.
Randy, next time you go to film a music video in your new beautiful home state that you can't wait to get to, you'll be like, "Oh wow, Nick's not
I
here to
just
do
died
stuff
a little.
for me." You'll be like, "Oh wow, Nick's not here to do the beautiful cinematography for me, so I'm gonna have to do this by myself."
I checked the FAQ. It is a sticker,
Okay,
Oh,
good to know.
and it can only be used once.
Oof.
that is a terrible idea. Let me guess.
you
the
have to
clamp costs
basically-
extra.
I don't know. Can I detach the phone clamp? I think it comes with the clamp, but the sticker thing will kill off Qi charging in MagSafe for you, and you can only
Unless
put it
you
on
have,
once.
if you get a leather, if you spend another $50 and get a leather case that you're only going to use with that gimbal, you can stick the sticker to the case, and then stick your phone in the case.
Whoa.
Problem solved.
Wow.
I
I'm
just turned
sorry.
a $150 purchase into a $200 purchase.
Yeah.
Yay!
I'm
getting
still
more
struggling to
expensive by the minute.
identify what side you're on.
I am pro gimbal. I own and use both a gimbal and a MagSafe Duo charger on a regular basis. I would say if I had to do both of those
By the way,
purchases
Nick,
over again,
every
I
music
would only
video
get
I've
gimbal.
filmed, statistically, every music video I filmed was shot on a Sony. So
Well, that's about to not be true.
I would recommend a gimbal for an actual camera. That's different.
I agree,
cinema
but
gimbal would be
unfortunately,
kinda cool.
Apple
Does Apple
doesn't
sell
have
cinema
any.
gimbals?
Nope, I looked.
I don't think so.
No, I like
That'd be
that.
I'm just saying I'm not completely anti-gimbal. I'm just anti-smartphone gimbal from experience of not noticing a difference and it being
Dude,
too.
some of the pro cinema gimbals out there are like mind blowing. Like the Ronin
Oh
series.
yeah.
DJI has some amazing products.
My buddy Ross got a GoPro gimbal. That's really cool.
Hey,
Takes
That's
some
pretty cool.
amazing footage with that.
I think
Especially-
On a
gimbal-
phone,
Do you think they'll make accessories that? Well, actually, let me ask you like this: Do you guys remember when we were working with a single lens, but then they improvised something with the 7 Plus that they were doing those attachments for lenses? Like I think it was like moment or movement or
yeah, they still make them.
they still make them, and I actually took quite an interest to see how well those things were being used because people were actually using like iPhone 5s to make film that was like at Sundance and then on Netflix and
Yep.
stuff like that, and it had become more common. It's not the industry standard, obviously, but it had become more common at that point because of these lenses that you could do that you could actually film cinematic things with it.
Yeah. Almost cinematic.
I was thinking of when that news article posted it. Someone filmed a feature film on an iPhone 5. There was an Onion article that was someone filmed the feature film with the Prius backup camera. There was footage of them like towing this Prius around in all these different scenarios. Sorry, I'm just imagining it.
That's funny.
I would do that for the Tesla, that ultra wide. You
Film a feature film.
Yeah, with
camera.
nothing but is it auto
with a
whatever,
dash
all
cam.
cameras.
Just
Yeah,
use my
all the
dash
But it's
cam the
not
whole time.
footage of a dash cam. They like have to pivot the whole car at different weird angles. Like they have to put it up on its
Never
side.
mind the 5 other cameras that are poking out everywhere.
You know those huge factory robot arms that you can mount like cars on? What they need to
Yeah.
do is mount a Model 3 on one of those arms, use it as a
There you
gimbal,
go.
and then you can move the whole car camera around.
Right.
This is
Right.
This is the best, most cinematography ever made right here.
I was gonna say, you know what? You guys are both wrong. I'm just gonna get like a braided solo loop.
Ooh.
$89.
Jeez.
I'm very anti-watch band now too, to be honest. Having spent a lot of money on watch bands, I realized how
Literally
endless
use them.
and pointless that I'm still using the watch band that came with my original Apple Watch right now. And I have a big pile of watch bands that I just never look at. And that's what's going to happen to your watch bands if you keep buying new ones.
Until they change
The more
adapters.
the more you own, the less you use.
And you're also
This is so
setting
true.
up for the future of one day them changing the attachment and then all of them becoming pointless.
I just
It's
don't
almost
understand why it's
inevitable.
$89, and that's me going off of the military discount. I don't know how much it really is, but
I think
sure
it's
bad.
100.
No, yeah, but I'm putting my gift
wouldn't
card towards a
recommend it.
braided loop. No.
If you can't, if you don't feel confident about anything, I just say save it for your actual Mac purchase coming later, the MacBook Pro or whatever you end up buying for.
I thought I had a time limit to use it.
No, it's a gift card.
You
Yeah, I thought
shouldn't.
You're good.
I don't know the way
It'd be
they
weird.
screwed me so far. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know, guys.
It said 120. It's actually $1.20.
Yeah. If you
Our
don't send
bad.
it, if you don't spend it, you use $1. You lose $1 each day.
They take the credit off slowly.
Slowly.
Yeah,
Until they get to the point where I owe them money.
you have to spend money to use this gift card. It's a
Yeah.
take card.
I,
Just adds
I've also
Just
got.
that.
Did you ever take a look at their HomeKit tab of things that they have going on in there? I don't understand these routers, these mesh MiFi, Wi-Fi, MiFi, Linksy. I don't understand what they're so why them over. I don't know, Starlink or something.
Well,
I don't.
Well,
Starlink is obvious.
Starlink's very limited beta, but I don't know the mesh Wi-Fi thing. I guess they're just to expand the network coverage you have, because they're assuming people who shop for Apple routers are probably rich people with big houses, so they might as well sell them mesh
Oh,
systems
no,
so
I'm
that they
good.
can
Never
stretch.
mind.
Randy?
Huh?
Or the Linkies? Are you looking at the Eeros or the Linkies?
Both.
Probably both.
Yeah, I have personal experience with Eero. I highly recommend Eero. They're amazing.
In
Why?
your house?
What for?
No, so I set up my elderly grandparents with an Eero Wi-Fi setup, and so you can control the entire network from an app. And so I have the app on my phone.
Grandparents would have been just fine. You didn't have to say elderly.
What are you?
Well,
What are you
okay.
controlling?
Their network. So I can restart,
What
update.
part? Okay.
I can manage. I can do a speed test. I can see what devices are currently connected to the network. I can disconnect, reconnect devices, reset IP addresses, MAC addresses. It's a pretty good app. You can get pretty technical with it. But I love the fact that my grandparents are in a different state, and I can control. I can resolve any little technical difficulty. I have all the power. No, it's just simple for me. Instead of having to tell him, unplug the black box that's connected to the yellow cable that's connected to the cable box that's connected to the wall, and then let that wait for 30 seconds and plug it back in. I just click one button on my phone and it restarts the network in a few seconds. It's a great system. And Eero support is amazing. You can give them a call, you can connect it to a live US representative within a few minutes, and they're very helpul. So
You
if
like
I
those things, huh?
If I live in a sub
Sponsored by
1,000
Eero.
square foot house, I should not get one of these.
Their house is only 1,500 square feet, and we have
Only.
them placed where, okay, well, it's not huge. It's not
To
small.
me, that's big.
Okay, that's fine. But it's not a huge house, not a mansion. And they use, they could have definitely gotten by with just one router before, but we have 3, and it's just great coverage everywhere. No dead spots. So I'd recommend it.
Starlink has an app.
Yeah,
You
they
can
do.
control
Yeah.
all that stuff.
And no
I don't-
HomeKit required. I kind of wish HomeKit was better than what it was. I feel like it's one of those things that, like 3D
I'm not too
touch.
happy with it in general.
Yeah, why aren't people? I loved the idea of having a dedicated hub for all things that are smart appliances or whatnot that has to do with the network. But it is just the UI getting around it was hard. I had to call. I think I told you guys about it. I had to call Apple support to have them help me unpair something that it kept saying that my HomePod Mini wasn't connected. I'm like, hey, what do you mean? I'm looking right at it. It's connected. So
I genuinely would not recommend to anybody trying to make your home a smart home with smart bulbs and stuff. Just from the frustration of setting them up and the frustration of what happens
right now. It's software updating.
Right, it's updating, or this app is no longer supported, that you need to set up this one smart outlet that I have, the outlet that powers these string lights. They took their app off the App Store. And now, even with the HomeKit code on the side, it will not connect to the HomeKit app, no matter what network it's connected to. This was pre-Starlink, so that it's blinking green at all times just to let me know that it's not connected. And it's very all the smart bulbs I've gotten that are they don't, it's not compatible with this smart speaker, but it is compatible with this smart speaker. I got excited last year when they said they were working on some kind of open standard for Google and Amazon and Apple to all have just a smart home supported thing, but it never turned into anything. They never actually officially announced some standard that all smart bulbs should all work with each other, all smart hubs should work with each other. It shouldn't be there's no ports, and yet there's incompatibility. It's like saying you have a USB-A, this is a USB-C cable, you can't plug it in, except it's all digital. They just all went these different directions, and at this point they have not ironed it out to the point that the only way to get it reliable and stable is if you buy the Philips bulb packet that have to get another beacon that plugs into the router, and now you have a modem, a router, and a beacon, and you attach the bulbs to that beacon, and I'm like, this is just so just for lights. Something you walk in the room and flip a switch.
Oh no, those days have long since sailed.
Well, not if you don't embrace the smart thing. If you just go with dumb bulbs and just embrace that, there's honestly, I feel
Who's
like
the
it's one of
boomer
those.
now?
I feel like it's one of those things that the smart industry was trying to solve a non-existent problem. There's a few occasions when it's nice to change lights without getting up, but the amount of time you waste on getting them to work.
I would go as far as to say they were a little overzealous. Yes. Yeah. I think they overreached their potential because nobody's using it in that way. I think of I got a security camera, I got smart bulbs, and I got my Nest. Oh, and I got the doorbell. So I got 4 things. None of them are routed through HomeKit. They all standalone apps that work through Siri anyway, which I guess maybe that might count through HomeKit. I'll be like, Siri, turn off my studio light, and then she turns it on. I just realized I said it, and I thought it was gonna happen. But anything else like Ring, the app for the Ring doorbell just pings me when there's movement or somebody rings my doorbell.
Yeah, that's what our cameras do.
So it's like it's. There's no, I don't know. The HomeKit, the smart bulb, the smart stuff. This is not practical. This is strictly decorative. This was never practical. I don't need this for like real life situation. Downstairs is boring 1970s and forward style. Like it's this is just decor for you people. You know, like
yeah,
I don't like. I would hate to have smart bulbs to get into my bedroom, to get into my bathroom, to get into like just anywhere in the house. I would hate that because then it's like, oh no, wait, where's my it's. I think you nailed on the head, solving a problem that didn't need to be fixed. But this time, I don't think it caught on. HomeKit is just not good.
I'm proud to say I've never owned a smart bulb. All of these lights you see around me, I have to turn on with my finger.
Well done.
Ew. You got calluses on those hands?
I would say that's the way to go.
I might. Ugh.
You did it right.
Switch is so complicated.
Yeah, and I guess that to kind of, you're right, Drew, about solving a problem that didn't need to be solved. But fundamentally, the reason why smart home accessories built into the home really don't make a ton of sense is because technology changes so frequently, right? But when you're going to build something into your wall, whether that's like a smart outlet, like built into the wall, or a smart switch, just like flush with the wall, not like an attachment, or, you know, lights that go into fixtures and stuff like that, feels a lot more permanent and a lot more difficult to change than, you know, your smartphone upgrade. Which, you know, all the companies have made it as simple as possible to upgrade your phone via iCloud backup and restore or whatever. But
it's very simple.
I just, there's something that needs to be timeless about a dwelling, right? Like in the 70s, they built, you know, tons of homes that were built in the 70s. Take Randy's as an example, right? I think you mentioned 70s just a minute ago.
Yep.
And what if they had, modem cabling and into every house with 4 outlets on each wall with a modem jack and, you know, all the old technology. I mean, it would be there, but it wouldn't be useful anymore, right? And I feel, especially when I see online, you know, a home builder in Texas builds all of the houses in their communities with smart home stuff already, you know, pre-built. And it's like, all right, that's nice for the next 5 years. But I know how technology works. I know that these light bulbs are going to be incompatible, or as Drew said, you know, that the company's going to go defunct and the app's not going to be available on the App Store anymore. And you're going to be sitting there with a useless device. But I just really can't see the value in a smart home, especially when I can just flip stuff on and off. So I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I agree. If it was simplified in some way, if it was as simple as connecting like AirPods or something, you know, where you just like open the case and it says connect, and if I could just take the bulb out of the box, screw it in the socket, and then a little pop-up says connect, and you hit connect, and that's pretty much all the setup there is. That would be different, but I know that's what the idea was with HomeKit, but that was not the execution, at least. Yeah. So that's
it's sad.
I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done
too.
We're done. Okay.
We're done. Welcome to the end of the show, guys. I think we made it.
Randy's texting us weird things.
I don't know. I realized because I'm signed in through the government thing. Look at this thing I saw on Apple. This is an actual product for $90. $90.
Oh, you need that, Randy.
I found it.
Case for your Apple Watch charger, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 watch bands.
It's the Von Holzhausen. I'm so sorry. Eva or whoever else is from Germany, if I'm screwing
Oh,
up.
that looks
Von
ridiculous.
Holzhausen, the watch band portfolio.
Wait, why are you
Holzhausen.
putting the watch itself in the case?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you need two different
yep.
watches to go with each outfit. You need to have a gold watch and a stainless watch. That's the rule with fashion.
One of those people. Okay.
I mean, someone who buys $100 case for their very expensive watch bands would probably.
These are the same people who can afford Eero. I'm done.
Eero mesh.
I'm done.
Euro mesh networks are definitely worth the money. They're expensive, but they're worth it.
The simplicity of Starlink is one of my favorite things
Oh, I
about
can
it.
only
Just
for
having
Starlink,
one
yes.
modem, one router that you control from an app, and it's one box, and it's very minimal. They need to work on the range of the router to make it a bit further reaching, but overall, the concept of just having one power cable for the entire system and then just one little box is like, oh, I need more of this in my life.
In lieu of Starlink, I would say Euro is really good.
I'd also love in the future if they found a way to incorporate the router into the Starlink dish itself, so that you just plug in the dish and then boom, Wi-Fi everywhere. It's probably not very feasible or technical right now because the signal would be weak and it'd have to go through your walls.
Not
and
for like
stuff,
van
but,
lifers or whatever.
But a
Like-
boy can dream.
yeah,
That'd be pretty nice.
one can dream. But I think in the future, if Wi-Fi gets strong enough and fast enough to the point that you can actually have an adequate signal, even if your router is technically outside, then in the future you could just plug in a dish and call it a day. That sounds awesome. They'll probably want to get there if they can. Anyway, thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next week. Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
139 might not happen.
Some,
Bye.
some,
Bye.
something. Bye.